I need you to stop what you're doing right now. Because what happened to this little girl inside her own home, on an ordinary Tuesday night, will stay with you for a long time. I want to tell you about a night that broke an entire community's heart. It was the evening of February 24th, 2026, in a quiet neighborhood called Maple Ridge, on the west side of Chicago. Families were winding down. Kids were inside. The streets had gone still. On Riverside Close, a woman named Carol Bennett was home with her children. The house was warm. The television was on. Life, in that moment, felt completely normal. Then, without warning, a car crept slowly down the street. And within seconds, gunfire. Bullets ripped through the walls and windows of that home. When the shooting stopped, a little girl named Lily Bennett, just 7 years old, had been hit. What investigators would soon uncover was something even more heartbreaking. This was not random. It all started with a phone call made earlier that evening. A threat was spoken out loud. And less than an hour later, that threat became real. By the time police arrived, a quiet family street had become the center of a murder investigation. Before we go any further, I need you to understand who Lily Bennett was. Because she wasn't just a name in a news report. She was a real little girl, full of life. Lily was 7 years old. She lived on Riverside Close with her mom, Carol, and her brothers and sisters. Their home was loud and full, the kind of home where there was always someone laughing or running around. Lily was the kind of kid who showed up. She played basketball at the local youth center. She did cheerleading on weekends. She went to school every day and came home with stories to tell. Her world was small in the way that children's worlds are, and it was beautiful. On the evening of February 24th, Lily was right where she always was, at home, surrounded by her family. Nobody was worried. Nobody felt afraid. Her mom was nearby. Her siblings were around her. She had no idea what was coming. None of them did. Here is where things took a dark turn, and it started with something that probably happens in thousands of homes every day. A phone call. Earlier that evening, Lily's older brother got into a heated argument over the phone with a 19-year-old named Marcus Webb. We don't know exactly how the argument started, but we know how it ended. According to investigators, Marcus looked at Lily's brother and said the words that would change everything. He threatened to shoot up the house. Think about that for a moment. Those words were spoken out loud. A real threat, directed at a home where children were sleeping, eating, watching TV, just living their lives. The people inside that house had no idea the argument had reached that point. They didn't know a threat had been made. They had no reason to think the night was anything other than ordinary. But for Marcus Webb, that phone call wasn't just words. It was, apparently, a plan. After that phone call ended, Marcus Webb didn't walk away. He didn't cool down. According to police, he made a decision, and then he acted on it. Investigators believe that Webb connected with a 17-year-old named Danny Cole shortly after the argument. The two of them got into a car, and they drove toward Riverside Close. The family inside the house knew nothing. Carol Bennett was with her children. The little ones were doing what children do in the evening, nothing dangerous, nothing dramatic. Just existing. Just being a family. Outside, a car turned onto their street. Inside, nobody moved toward a window. Nobody had any reason to be afraid. The seconds between that moment, the car entering the street, and what happened next were probably the last ordinary seconds that family would ever know. Because what came next changed everything. Forever. At around 9:40 that night, the gunfire started. Multiple shots were fired at the house. Bullets hit the walls, the door, the inside of the home. Carol Bennett was struck. And so was Lily. Emergency calls went out immediately. Paramedics rushed to the scene. Both Carol and Lily were taken to hospital. Carol survived. But Lily, sweet, 7-year-old Lily, who played basketball and went to school and laughed with her siblings, Lily did not make it. She died at the hospital that night. Marcus Webb later turned himself in. Danny Cole was also arrested. Both now face murder charges and more. The legal process is moving forward. But for Lily's family, no verdict will ever bring her back. I think about this story because of how simply it began. A phone argument. words spoken in anger, and a choice, a terrible, irreversible choice to act on them. One little girl paid for that choice with her life, and the ripple of that night will move through her family, her street, and her community for the rest of their lives. Lily Bennett deserved to grow up. She deserved so much more. Follow for part 2.